When approaching a philosophical text, the conventional expectation of a preface, offering an outline of the author's aims, the circumstances surrounding the work's creation, or its relationship to prior and contemporary inquiries, often proves both unnecessary and ill-suited. While such prefaces may serve practical purposes in works of other disciplines, they risk undermining the distinctive nature of philosophy itself. Philosophy does not lend itself easily to preliminary explanations, for its subject matter is not external to the work, but emerges within it, shaped and revealed by the progression of its own internal logic. Indeed, the very idea of explaining a philosophical undertaking in advance presumes a distance between its purpose and its execution, a distance incompatible with the unified and self-determining character of speculative thought. Unlike the sciences, where conclusions may be outlined and summarized without compromising their integrity, philosophical truth resides not merely in the content, but in the method, the form, and the totality of its systematic exposition. Thus, any attempt to preface such a work risks misrepresenting its essence. Philosophy requires immersion, a willingness to engage with its dialectical unfolding, wherein each concept finds its justification only in its connection to the whole. A preface, therefore, can only gesture toward the work to come, serving as a bridge for the reader, but not as a substitute for the journey itself. This hesitation toward prefacing a philosophical text arises from the inherent risk of introducing contradictions between the prefatory explanations and the work itself. In philosophy, truth is not a static datum to be merely presented or declared. It is a dynamic unfolding, inseparable from the process of its articulation. A prefatory explanation, by its nature, presupposes an external standpoint, a position outside the system, through which the work's purpose, value, or relationship to other efforts might be appraised. Yet such an external stance is antithetical to the very essence of speculative philosophy, which demands that truth be apprehended from within its immanent development. The act of delineating a philosophical work's relationship to prior or contemporary treatments of the same subject, while customary in other disciplines, poses unique challenges in this context. By engaging in such comparative framing, one risks introducing an external interest, whether polemical, conciliatory, or critical, that distracts from the core objective of philosophy, the unadulterated pursuit of truth. The reader, instead of being invited into the dialectical movement of ideas, may be tempted to measure the work against external standards or preoccupations, thereby reducing its scope to mere commentary or reaction. Philosophical inquiry must resist such distractions because its focus lies in the cognition of truth as such, not in the affirmation or negation of other intellectual efforts. While engagement with prior thought is inevitable and even necessary, since philosophy evolves through the history of ideas, this engagement must occur within the organic unfolding of the philosophical system itself. To artificially introduce these relationships at the outset risks obscuring the work's internal logic, turning the reader's attention away from the intrinsic connections that constitute the philosophical method. Moreover, such prefatory contextualizations carry an implicit assumption that philosophy can be meaningfully understood as a collection of discrete contributions, each offering its own perspective on a shared subject matter. This fragmented view, while suitable for empirical or historical sciences, fails to capture the holistic nature of philosophical truth. Philosophy does not simply add to a repository of knowledge, it aims to reveal the totality of reason, wherein all particular claims find their place within an interconnected system. To focus prematurely on external comparisons is to diminish the self-sufficient character of speculative thought, diverting attention from the unity of concept and reality that philosophy seeks to unveil. In this sense, the very act of preemptively situating a philosophical text within a broader intellectual landscape risks perpetuating the very limitations that the text itself seeks to transcend. The proper engagement with a philosophical work demands that one suspend such external preoccupations, allowing the text to reveal its truth in its own terms and through its own methodical progression. Only then can philosophy fulfill its highest aim, to grasp truth as a living totality, free from the distortions of extraneous concerns. The prevailing view of truth often approaches it as a binary opposition to falsity, reducing complex philosophical systems to mere positions that one must either endorse or reject. Under this lens, truth is treated as static and fully formed, leaving no room for the nuances of philosophical evolution. Any explanation of a new idea is then interpreted as either a confirmation of pre-existing beliefs or a challenge to them, reinforcing a framework of rigid agreement or irreconcilable contradiction. This perspective is not merely limited, but fundamentally misaligned with the nature of truth as it unfolds in philosophy. What this common perspective fails to grasp is that the apparent contradictions between philosophical systems are not outright negations of one another, but are instead movements within the progressive development of truth. Each system, with its unique concepts and methodologies, contributes to a larger dialectical movement, a historical process wherein truth reveals itself in stages. These stages may appear discordant or even antagonistic when viewed in isolation, yet they are integrally connected, like the successive forms of a living organism, each containing the seeds of its successor.